Oh God.
You want to wait?
Bring it to the people, man. Bring it to the people.
There's one over there. It's the poet elevator. Can we all fit, do you think?
I don't know. It's pretty big. It looks like it. It's actually pretty big.
Thank you.
This is another elevator. It's gonna be yours. It's not gonna move. Okay. Somebody hit a button.
I did. Alright, welcome everybody. So these poems are from this book called The Caresses, A Letter of Instruction, and they are poems written from the perspective of a taxidermist named Robert. And all the poems from Robert are lifted from taxidermy manuals, and they're addressed to his wife, Robin. And so there's poems from Robin and from Robert. This first one is from Robin.
Keep it open.
Go down.
Or go down. I don't know.
Go down.
I don't know.
Oh.
Our home. Here we are, our home. This is from Robin. It is as if the soul meat was more contained in us because we talked to ourselves in the night, and then to each other when the animals stopped listening, to evacuate this cavity. Once I could sleep all day on this side, and on this side he walks his hands down my vertebrae, down into the fielded dark. He lights the kitchen with the refrigerator and drinks a bed and a blanket. The house calls itself in two parts. If you erased the end of our names, it would make a robbery sound, a thief and quiet, a quick jewel gone from the house. And maybe he did, as if the word was not a bird, but me, Robin. I was inside, my one arm held like a wing, one arm flapped, the mouth full and frothing, one arm sweating.
Good timing.
One skin. A wasp was beating itself against the window. Call him Rob. Call me Rob, he said, and it won't hurt a bit, he said. Call out my name, he said, Robin. I said, he said, shake for me, honey, my spring bird. Here's the worm. It was so early to be in. And there appeared a robin, first bird of spring. He spit in my hand. He said, good luck, dear. And I spit in his hand. I love you, dear. First Rob, first Robin, first spring of my life cut from winter. A wheat harvested, we laid on green sheets, saying whatever words we couldn't pronounce. Take the bones out and leave the skin intact. Take the guts out and lungs too. Remove the windpipe. Have a body like a sack. Have a skin like a tent. And discard all that is not crucial to exterior. He enters the throat, a gorge where the gorgeous was, and I, like him, with a gray hose to sound through. He gets slobber swallowed, his one foot in Grangeville, his sprung open coyote scarf about me. Say he wears pink inside, and hamburger like me, a recipe of me by he. He would be home soon, to his regimes of thigh and wing. His diets demand a small death between mouth and stomach, as long as the moon. So here's one from Robert's perspective. A novel approach. We will sit to cut off from the straight-headed birds of the amateurs, the crimson wattles, and seated together a flock herd hidden us. At the bottom of years, we will own bodies by joint of hook or purpose, both of us, without limit opening. Skin of the nape, skin of the years, skin of America, skin of you draped over the fleshing pole. Oh, I will slip a wire through your head. These feathers fall, these beautiful all marble, these beautiful wings. Oh, joints of the knee, joints of the neck, joints of the back. I invented a form. I invented a pose. I cut out your mouth. I cut off your legs. The most modern man is tucked behind your eyes. So trouble is done when doing and work. Dead game running is dead game flying. My fetching trophy, my so seldom she, among the prefabricated forms of America. Oh, there's never a nick in the hide. Field collecting. You're out looking for your animals. Make them pretty. One must make an area to acquire knowledge. Her skin most clean. One can never care too much whether her life be a life or a position in a field of songbirds. A song issues at all times. Permit me to hunt there. One must abide by the law of song. A particular pleasure to study all of her, to list her parts as a game, whether they be bird, animal, fish, or reptile, to hunt and number her, and never damage the specimen. O bare skin, face, legs, and feet, to record her eyes, a record of colors, an experience preserved in bloodstains and dirt. Because before her life for me was of little value, a season restricted to wild men. My shy hen, allow me to part the feathers. Allow me to place the cotton over each eye, secured in flesh and oil. The law. What is important is dead. The dead must be noted. To not be dead is to note how smooth the hair, how it moves like feathers. To absorb this is to wipe a stain from a coat pocket, is to face the dead with fresh eyes and not shy from its paper throat. Wet and destroy what mattered not, as will make a blood plug it with newspaper. Observe her stomach, it shakes gently out of place, off with the hair, where large holes run bag to throat. And the season pronounced light, to which feathers attached. The star became a starling, became my darling. I explained to her the game over and over. We cannot but remove the skin from the skin, the bird from the birds, to give each to each. Wildlife, how to pleasure her, was to remember a field in a particular season. There with the songbirds, there with the song the color of her. How I remember that song of take this off and take that off. Juice running out over our feet, all laws broken, all over our bodies. One last poem called Supper Time. Damn near. Supper Time. I know this. Call it mind self. Words configure themselves up and down the suicide humorous radius ulna. Only my hurt side won't show. I have seen the dust spiraling out of the air. To tolerate one thing and not another is a cut thing from all things. To cause me up, slender by light, he would be home soon. Because I know there is a bone saw in the storage room. See, I saw me alone saw, like a definition. Me and what is not me, at certain levels, such as the basement, such as the kitchen, as the sky above, all in discombobulated flight. Once I saw it after he had butchered a deer. I hid my head in my arms from the awfulness. The blood smeared across the blade with those wet little splinters of bone like worms. His fingers counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points on the buck's head, his chandelier, a trophy for the records. He says I'm his sweetmeat, his chubby Tweety bundle. The fat of my arms is butter. When I wake, his saliva on my arms says that I know I am his. Tolerating what I saw, a bone saw. Then make my body an onion and cry from the cut. My meat tenders on his plate. The oil is hot, the onions, potatoes, and celery. Our home and cards, a little brown sugar, the white gristle strings. I do not like the way the plastic eyes stare at me from the stuffed squirrel in the windowsill. He said he shot it for me. He brings home the meat, and I forgot to thaw the venison for the stew. Squirrel alone, your cheeks, your claws, your belly held with wire, your ribs gone. He pried them out with a butter knife. Set the kitchen timer. My heart beats in my ears. His fingers tap on the steering wheel. Lights go red to green and he is coming home. Lights go green to red and the blood pools on his windshield. The blades smear it. Wind and blades wipe across the visible scar. His truck, his white socks, like beetle-clean bones, and his one big toe, a horn. Hear the wounded bird, gaping now to flow a blessing, and score this body now with what applause and splatter a skillet can sing back to my prayer. Just pick it up and plop it down. The grease screams with it. Tolerate. The sock in the freezer is cold. Put ice in the bottom of it and slide it over the stump. There are rubber bands in the drawer by the phone. Wrap them tightly about the stump. In a minute, I will turn it. The vegetables are soft. And now I have walked from here to there. Breath passes from one fixed field of flesh. Call this a body. Sometimes cold in the morning, sometimes cut on a thorn. A field of stubbled corn, a stag in a wood. Have I seen the skull? And I have held the brains themselves, and held them to my forehead, vessel of sunlight, and smoke rising from blood. From what have I done? The fingers, the luxury of hands, the delicate skin, these warm beneath mine. Have I was walking home at legal limits? Have I was holding foul and proud? I was the only one walking. A pair of boots and feet inside. Last one, surprising how far. We separate in flight from the anchorage of quills and arm bones. Free the body wiped away, but blood, may it flow, loosed upon the paper and gone.